Excuse me, talk to me from the back.
Oh, sorry. Got you literally just sorry.
I just gotta say thank you.
You're welcome.
I mean, you guys showed up. I asked you to produce. You weren't perfect. I didn't ask you to be perfect. You're never gonna be perfect. I'm never gonna ask you to be perfect. But I asked you to reflect and learn and grow on your calls. And I saw that all weekend long. I asked you to hold each other accountable for what happens on your field, and you did that all weekend long. We made some moves, people went in different directions, and then thrived off that move. You know, that's what this sport is about. It's growth. As a player, as a referee, as whatever the hell you want to consider what I do, you know, that's all we need to do is keep learning how to, you know, take our mistakes and turn them into positives the next time around. Many of you were there the first time 2 years ago when we sat out in that lot, and I told you how scared I was that nobody was going to show up for that first meeting, and I was going to face World Cup alone. Thank you very much. In 2 years, we have grown something that is bigger than I could have ever imagined. We had a World Cup ran 14 fields of paintball, and I had to cut referees on the Friday or Thursday before. That's insane. So keep it going, all right? The fire that you guys have for this game, the fire that you guys have for working with each other and making the game better and keeping a solid, positive game for our player, it's infectious, all right? The Europeans came over, they saw it, they love what we have going on. You know, they've got a great thing over there, and we're going to get to see some of their fire and pick up some of their tricks, but together we're going to really take paintball to the next level, okay? Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, you guys really kicked ass on many, many levels. Somebody pointed out that last year at the end of World Cup, I jumped up and down and I was all happy, and this year I don't seem quite as happy or quite as excited. And it really is, I'm fucking numb right now by how little me and Z had to deal with any issues. Tom Cole's out of his mind. If you walked around and said, anything to you, he wasn't joking. You know, he's extremely happy. Our owners are happy. Our vendors are happy. And most importantly, our players were happy. Okay, we have losers coming up and talking about, you know what, that call didn't go my way, but you know what, you guys did a great job. Thank you very much. You know, they may not agree with everything, and that's fair. Perspective is not always going to be agreed with. You know, you have your perspective, I have mine, and we do our best to meet in the middle and offer the fairest, point, result, issue, whatever it is to our players. Okay, I asked you to produce, and you did. Okay, all I ask you from here on is to reflect on the mistakes that we did make, and also, get the fire into those other people in your leagues. You know what I mean? Take what you have here and make sure that that's what you have down at your regional level. Increase the paintball on your regional level so that we get even more teams. 400, and I think it was 485 was our final count here. Let's go 550 next year. Okay, and still have the same, fully staffed fields and happy players. We can do it. I mean, there's no doubt that we can't staff any number of fields that we need to. Okay, the clinics next year are going to be off the freaking wall. Okay, we are going to put them on East Coast, on West Coast, around our events. If you think your field can take one, shoot me the email. You need to have 20 people that are going to come to a clinic. That's not that hard. Okay, especially for somebody who's already, in our midst and knows how we can produce and the things we can do and the fun we can have. It's real easy to get 20 people on board. Or you find another area that's close to you, and you find, a way to meld the two together. You each get 10. Okay, but let's take what we've done now, and let's make a huge step forward. Okay, I want to give a big shout out to all my head referees. I mean, you guys kicked ass. We had guys that stood up for their first event. I asked you to be that deer in headlights, and you stared it right down, and you freaking produced better than anybody I should ever have. I never had a single team come up and tell me that motherfucker doesn't know what's going on. It's what I would normally expect. You know what I mean? Our rookie head referees kicked ass beyond belief. Our veterans, same thing. I saw some great improvement out of all of your fields. I mean, I saw you handing off the remotes and getting some other people trained up as a head referee for next year, because we are going to need it. Okay, we have to dig really deep to cover those fields head referee-wise this year. All right, next year's going to be a little bit tougher. All right? Z. Okay, he gets way little credit, and I probably give way more than I should. I mean, between knowing more about the scorekeeping equipment, the scorekeepers than I could ever at this point, you know, and also, you know, growing and managing and getting the respect of those players, you know, you're what makes this work, brother. So thank you very much.
Get up there.
It's easy like Sunday morning, Zeke.
Just don't piss him off.
Yeah. Damn. Honestly, I didn't realize how very many of us there were until like right now. It's kind of intimidating.
You got it.
Oh, thanks a lot, Kim.
Sorry. Yeah. You know you need to be louder.
I remember last year, me and CJ had a discussion about like how big the fields were, how many fields we're having, if we were going to have enough reps to cover it. And then now I'm looking out at everybody here, and a little scared last year. And this year I'm just